Oh, g'day Rugby League fans. Welcome along to the ACC's Mad Monday podcast live from the Export Beer Garden studio and brought to you by 4 and 20 Pies. My name's Keezy. Joining me on the commentary today, Adam Whanua-Keezy being backed up by Dai Henwood. How are you today, Dai?
Oh, mate. First of all, I got to spend a superb Sunday afternoon with your good self and the amazing watchers and listeners of the ACC as we're just watching the Warriors deliver week after week after week. Even the weeks we lose, I'm walking away going, I'm proud of this team.
Absolutely. And the thing is, I mean, we did a very sort of minor commentary of the Warriors in 2019. Myself, Mania Stewart, and Wairangi Kopu as well.
What a year to do it.
Oh, and it was soul destroying. After 15 minutes, we were like, all right, game's over. Let's start, doing funny text names on 3236 and blah, blah, blah. This season, you don't need to do anything because the game is just so absolutely ridiculous and the Warriors are playing so fantastic. I feel like I'm in a dream.
Well, if you look at last year,
right,
we had 6 wins over the whole season and we came 15th. The year before that, I think we came 12th and we only had 8 wins. We're already at 11 wins.
Oh, my goodness. And have you seen the run home?
Yeah, so we're going to rip into it, but I'm a happy man, and we're in rare air here. This does not happen for Warriors fans, so saddle up and enjoy it.
Absolutely. Just take a deep breath and just try and be in the moment because this is a year that we're going to be talking about for years to come. The year that Shawnee J almost maybe got Dally M. The Wars went all the way maybe. Oh, the possibilities are endless. But let's rip straight into the analysis now. The Warriors got a massive win over the Sharks, 44 points to 12.
Probably to Johnson. Goes back to Johnson. He plays
Yes,
wide
boy.
and
Go, boy.
DWZ puts
Yes.
it down. That's what we're talking about. In the corner, he doesn't need to dive. He calmly puts it down. That's going to be 4 points on the board for the Warriors. Their first attacking play, and they get given some well-needed points, Kesey, because the try is about to be scored. Egan, Johnson,
Yes.
and there we go, Rocco Berry. That's right. Paddle a Walker home. Paddle a Walker to the grand final as Rocco Berry takes the Warriors into the lead. Some beautiful passing and a straight run. Keezy sees a wonderful try.
Well, it was an amazing commentator's prediction.
Then you got Dylan Walker gets it out to Sean Johnson's stinging run.
Oh, great
and here
ball.
we
Go,
go.
boy.
And Dallas
Yes,
again. The tries are flowing and the flames are blowing at Mount Smart Stadium. The fruit bowl is full of juicy avocados as the Warriors push it out 36 points to 6. And Dylan Watene-Zelezniak machetes off the top of a coconut and takes a sip of the delicious electrolytes. Very close to breast milk. Yum, yum, yum. The Warriors score. Kick to kick.
So it was an exciting game, an exciting commentary as well, Dai. And the thing that really stood out for me was there were a few things. Firstly, the way we were able to capitalise on the Sharks' obvious weaknesses. Every time Matt Moylan looked up, he had 2 Warriors back rowers running straight at him, and he had Chance Nickel-Klukstad hiding behind them running a deep ball. It was just... There was a floating pass out to that to the DWZ try that was scored first. That I was just like the confidence for Shawnee J to pass the ball, not to the man, to the space where he knew the man would be. That is a back line full of confidence and trust. And then the other thing that stood out for me was you've got guys like Metcalf, Wayde Egan, Rocco Berry. These are not the stars. These are guys that all stood up and played out of their skin, and they're sort of that second tier of player. It's just everything seems to be lining up for us at the moment.
This is what I was thinking about this morning. How much I love, when we get nitpicky, we go, okay, well, if you look at the weak links, maybe the center's having some issues. Just as you say that, they come into form. Rocco Berry's been great defensively. This game he showed he's been good on attack. Adam Pompey had a very, very staunch game. We are just delivering all across the park. What got it for me is, on a rewatch of that game, I saw... We were under a lot of pressure for the first 10 minutes.
Yes, it was 10 minutes of resilience.
Yeah, we were just resilient. They had all the field position. They had a lot of the possession. They ran a classic sort of right side raid with Nico Hines and Britton Nakora that ended up putting Nico into a gap that Pompey couldn't quite cover, and they scored. And that was when I was like, oh no, when the Sharks get their tails up, they can do these amazing attacking plays. But then we just delivered with defence, and then we started to win the battle. And as Webby said in the press conference, we didn't suddenly freak out and think we've just got to get down there and score points. We just played slow, good footy, and then we just scored, and the floodgates open.
Well, that's the thing, and so that's brilliant, right? So because you could react and go full panic stations after Hines crosses over, because, as you say, once the Sharks get going, they are hard to stop. But the thing that we're doing is not only are we sort of pulling up our socks and, you know, acting like nothing happened after a try is scored against us. We're doing the same thing after we score tries. We're just resetting, going back to what we do. So we just keep executing. We're not getting complacent either. You know what I mean? So it's just 80 minutes of...
And there's been talk about the refs over this season, right? I actually subscribe to this fact. When you're a good team playing well, calls go your way.
Yes, absolutely, they do.
And that's what's happening to us now. We are good, and we don't need fake calls. Every call that went our way was a proper call. I felt a bit for Hazelton not scoring that a runaway forwards try.
He's never going to get that again in his career.
He's never going to get it off his foot to his hand and sprint 50 metres with a fullback chasing him and make it. But it happened to be a knock-on. But it was a knock-on. We defended. Where the Sharks really rock is getting it to their wingers, and Sione Katoa and Mulitalo. Both of them just got shoved out.
Both of them, yes.
Marcelo Montoya just shoved Sione Katoa out. Then Mulitalo was just drilled by Sean Johnson. So we stopped them. We just stopped them the way they like to attack. We made Mount Smart a fortress. Both halves were 22 points to 6 to the Warriors.
Oh, wow.
So it was a mirror game.
That is a complete performance.
Yeah, it's a complete performance. 22-6 at halftime, 44-12 at full time. So
far out, man.
We just delivered. We jumped the Sharks. We did great for our points differential.
Nice.
Then...
I hope we don't jump the Shark, but we certainly jump them.
We now look at this next 6 games, which is very winnable. We've got Canberra, then we've got a bye, then we've got the Titans, the Dragons,
Dolphins,
the Tigers.
Yeah, it's literally the 5 worst teams. The Bulldogs,
the Dolphins, and there's one hard team, Manly, in there. I think is probably the hardest team.
Right.
We've got, but it is just Manly in there. Just before the Dragons, it goes Raiders, Titans, Tigers, Manly, Dragons, Dolphins. So we should, to be honest, win 4 out of that 6, maybe 6 out of 6.
I feel like if we're the real deal, we should win 6 out of the 6, because I had circled Eels, Raiders, and the Sharks game as like, these are going to be the testers. Those are sort of top 8 teams.
And maybe the potential losses out of that run home.
Exactly. And I was like, look, we need to, if we can win even 2 of those 3, I'll be stoked. We win all 3 of them. Hope Raiders pending, obviously. This 5 sort of game run home with the 5 sort of softies in a row, I think if we can't put them away comfortably heading into the finals, then we're not going to make it past the sort of first round. You know, that's the kind of like Penrith
completely.
Would.
Yeah,
they'd put them away.
They'd just put them to the sword
and Melbourne would.
Then focus on the big games. So basically, to make the 8, you need 13 wins.
Right,
is basically where it's sitting mathematically.
And we've got
we're on 11.
Oh my god!
So it's looking pretty good. I mean, it's looking great for finals. But now if we beat the Raiders, we're legitimate top 4 contenders.
And a strong, I don't think anyone would look at us being in the top 4 and be like, oh, the Warriors are lucky to be in there either. Like, a lot of these, so it's a real even race in the NRL at the moment, but a lot of these teams have actually got glaring weaknesses, whereas the Warriors are starting to tidy those up, and they're starting to, like, comfortably beat good teams, other teams that are in the top 8. So I don't think anyone's going to argue about the Warriors being in the top 4 either.
You know what I love about Webby as a coach? You don't see the same deficiency week on week.
Yes, he obviously addresses things.
When there's a gap, you know, like we got out to bad starts.
Yes, he's addressed it.
Then we addressed it. Then it's like if we've got a kicking issue, he'll address it. He seems to just plug the holes and get everyone going, not get too excited. And I just love the style of footy they're playing. And it's a good time to be a fan. And I honestly, even in 2011 when we went to the grand final, I don't think I've felt so positive about the Warriors in terms of the fact that we are playing football that can beat good sides now.
That's right.
We've proven that. We've beat the Sharks twice this year.
Yes. We went to the Raiders and spanked them as well.
Yeah.
And they're above us. They're still in 4th place in the top 4,
So there's so much to like, and it's a great time to be a fan. Mount Smart was just popping.
Yeah.
Popping off.
That's the only sort of negative about us doing the commentary here in the ACC studio is I really wish I was at some of these games.
So their average attendance is now over 22,000.
Oh, my God. That's so good.
It is.
That is insane, right?
Any sport would be so envious of that turnout.
And considering how much ridiculous torrential rain we've had for a couple of games as well, that's amazing.
It's not like these have been beautiful fair weather fan games.
No.
It's been brutal, and the Warriors have been brutal. I think the big guys in that team, I was thinking about this on the drive in. Maybe it was actually a legend alpha move to give the ass card to Matt Lodge.
Yeah,
and just
I love
pay
it.
him out. Because we have massively changed that culture around. Our front row now rolling through Tom Ale, Adam Whanua-Blake, Mitch Barnett, Tohu Harris, Bunty Afoa. They're just legend dudes, and they play so strong. How good is Adam Whanua-Blake?
He has been, and he had a couple of quiet games there, right? Because he was on a try-scoring tear. But the thing about Adam Whanua-Blake is he's always, the Warriors spread it out to the right. They've got a prop as an option there for Shawnee J. They've got Josh Curran or Marataniu-Korte steaming through. They've got Chans out the back. They've also got Rocco Berry, it seems, as an option now, who scored a try doing just that. All of our big boys, including Tohu Harris, seem to just pop up at try-scoring moments in beautiful position, and they've been running like these amazing lines and breaking the defense. It's just, I don't even know. I literally don't know.
Well, if you look at here's two stats that I love about the Warriors.
Right.
We've scored the most tries through the middle out of any side in the competition. We used to always score our tries from, not lucky, but 50-50 kicks and go for the contest.
That's right.
And score. So we're scoring rugged tries through turning it through the middle.
But when you think about the Warriors' tries, I'm not thinking about those. I'm thinking about Dallin diving in the corner. So we're obviously...
But also, they're not off kicks. They're off these huge sweeping
that's
backline
right.
plays that is just really clinical footy. And the other stat is we're third best defensive side in the comp.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's only by...
Penrith, I'm guessing.
Penrith and Melbourne.
Right.
And we're only 3 points behind Melbourne in terms of best defensive side. So we're on par with Melbourne as a defensive side. That is an amazing stat.
That is an amazing stat, and this is sort of where I do worry going into that postseason with that soft run home is I want our defence to be massively tested going into the finals. And I'd love just one more game against a Melbourne or even a Penrith, you know what I mean? Just to test it before getting in there.
Oh,
are you worried about that?
No, I'd love maybe if the second to last game was against that, then we had a Tigers or a Dragons.
Yeah, nice.
Just so it was like, okay, we can have a run out, then we can get a bit of confidence back.
That's right.
But the telling stat is how good Penrith are, right? Penrith's points against are 218. The next best is Brisbane. Sorry, we're fourth actually on the best defence. Brisbane 321. So
wow, almost
Penrith's
100
defence
points.
is 100 points better than the next. Like that is.
And
they are just Penrith, and you watch them against the Dolphins. I sat down and I was like, oh, here we go. They're going to pace the Dolphins, and the Dolphins did a big comeback. And then it was like, no, Melbourne with none of their first graders get the win. They just know how to win. And the Warriors are becoming this side where winning becomes a habit.
You're right, actually.
Penrith, winning is a habit. Their default is winning.
Yes. And the thing that the Warriors are mirroring, and maybe this was Andrew Webster at Penrith all along, but is Nathan Cleary's out, sweet, chuck Jack Cogger in there. And like, sure, they're not still the same sharp Penrith, but they still do churn out wins. He does all the right stuff. Whoever they are bringing in to replace these guys, they're always really, really good. And that seems to be happening with the Warriors as well. When, for example, Metcalf in for Tamati Martin started a bit rough, but every single person we seem to bring into these spots, even Tane Tuopiki when Chance was out for a while there, and Lussick at
Tane
Fooker.
Tuopiki, everyone would have been happy for him to continue.
Yeah, exactly.
He was doing fine.
That's what I mean.
Wayde Egan is, stats-wise, I think the 5th best hooker in the comp.
He's going to be better than
Harry Grant. Harry Grant picks him as the best hooker in the comp.
Does he?
He has verbally said that in an interview. He said he watches
Wade.
He watches Wade to get tips on.
To be fair, if Wade didn't get injured and concussed this season, he would have been having one of the all-time great seasons.
Because that is, bear in mind, these stats have, 4 or 5 games out, probably?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So he is...
More than that, I feel, because he's had like half games and, HIA-affected games.
So our spine, we've had issues at hooker and in the halves, and at fullback.
And at fullback, yeah.
And we've got through those.
Amazing.
In hindsight, you look back and go, how did we lose twice to the Roosters?
Yeah, especially watching them play now.
But then when I jogged my memory and I looked at a few results, the Roosters actually started the season well. They've just gone to rubbish now.
Well, Nico Hines' side is 2020 die, so.
Yeah. So. But also, speaking of Nico Hines, maybe it was a bit of an inspired call by Freddie in Origin not picking him, because he think does struggle under pressure.
I think not picking him has ruined his confidence, and actually,
I'd agree with that.
And also, and I have no way of confirming this or whatever, but Mike Minogue do the Big Show with, he's a serious Warriors fan.
Yeah,
like we pretend that we're not, but he's a serious Warriors fan, and he's been reading and listening to all sorts of potties and blah 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 on Nico Hines, and he was saying it could also be sort of corresponding with Nico. I think his mum just came out of jail and is now living with him and stuff. And so I think behind the scenes he's got all this family stuff going on.
Because he had quite a rough ride mentally, I believe.
Yes.
Because I watched an amazing face-to-face interview with him a couple of years back.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. He's had this really rough ride. I think that at the same time as State of Origin, where everyone's making noise about him, blah, 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 and then you've got to go out there and play for the Sharks. I feel like when you've got all these things going on, it can be quite hard to think, I need to play my best footy. Like, that doesn't seem like a priority, if you know what I mean. So I can see, yeah.
Also, I was reading a few Sharks fans were saying, but we lost Teague Wilton early. And I was like, if you were to lose any of the players on the field, Teague Wilton is replaceable.
Definitely.
You didn't lose Britton Nakora, you didn't lose Mulatalo, you didn't lose Talakai, Hines, Sione Katoa. So Rudolph, Hamlin Ueli, to be honest, if you were going to pick a player to lose...
Yes. Teague Wilton, even Kennedy. He'd be certainly bottom 3 of the starting 13.
And we shut down Kennedy. Will Kennedy was running great lines. Britton Nakora probably was the most dangerous on field for them, but we kept him pretty shut down, except for that beautiful line he ran for a try in the second half. But, hey, there's very little to say about the Warriors except... awesome. Our last 10 games we've won 6, lost 4, and if we can keep our tails up and head into the back end of the season, I mean, I always get a bit nervous before games, but I'm hoping for a win against the Raiders.
Hell yeah, let's do it. And don't forget that game is going to be broadcast live by the ACC. I believe it'll be me and Mania Stewart, a.k.a. Tino Fa'asua Manaiawi, 8 o'clock this Friday, either on Sky Sport 9 or Sky Sport 6. Just keep an eye out on the old ACC socials there. Happy with the Warriors coverage, Dai? Happy to move on to the stonker, mate?
Absolutely. Stonk it up, baby.
All right, let's do it. It's time now for the stonker of the round. It is the Eels beating the Titans just 25 points to 24.
Work is the call for the Titans. That's been touched by the Titans. Tackle Canberra starts. Did they kick? They've lost the ball. Parramatta, full set, diving, missing, or scoring. Gutherson. Well, it's one of the great put-downs. If it's locked in as a try, and it is one of the great put-downs for a try. Field goal time for Moses in front of the post. Maybe they're thinking more. Moses with a step. Moses! Here they are. Boyd in front. Boyd with the kick. Tanner Boyd has sliced it. That's not good. Full time. Parramatta 25. The Gold Coast 24.
Yes, interesting result there. I would have, and I think the early sin binning of a high shot from Michael A. Sevo, and also that RCG knees to the back.
Gross. I'm surprised he didn't get a straight send-off for that.
Yeah, you're right. So
because when you saw the angle from where he was coming in, was he deliberately dropped the knees into the mid-back, which is just...
Oh, it's grubby. He's better than that too, isn't he?
I was really surprised at that because I don't think of RCG as a grubby player, actually.
He's a workhorse, usually.
It also didn't look like a brain fade. It looked quite deliberate. And how amazing is Combank Stadium for a crowd? It just seals that noise in. It was so loud when the Parafans...
And it's because it's a square stadium.
Yeah.
Which is your thing. You know, you got to play footy in a square stadium. It just...
Exactly. To anyone who watched the AB's game, you just see how awesome it actually looks on a game.
That's right. And a perfectly square pitch. You know, the closest fans are, 5 metres away from the sideline? It's absolutely brilliant. But I do love Combank Stadium. And I've actually got a bit of theory on, like, Mike Acevo's been average for a month and a half now.
Yeah.
I think when Dylan Brown comes back, I can't remember if it's next week or the week after, it'll unlock that left side. Surely, right? Because he's been so bad.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Dejan Arce has done an amazing job filling in.
He's a different type of player to Dylan Brown, though. He's the kind of guy I think I'd want...
Who would consensually touch you in a bar?
Well, I hope so. Because that's the Mad Monday way.
That's the opposite of Dylan Brown.
Exactly. But I feel like Arce is a solid guy that you'd have in that Moses spot while you've got a Dylan Brown... trying to not say the word... offensive. His attacking abilities.
Yeah.
You know, you've got him free range while Moses is running the thing. I think he just adds so much.
And I feel for the Titans a bit. Tanner Boyd just had an absolute...
And that slice is so common when you drop kick.
Yeah,
it happens to me all the time.
So, I mean, without being mean on Tanner Boyd, the second they can replace Tanner Boyd, the better the Titans will be.
Well, what about old mate that they just... Toby Sexton, that they let go to the Doggies?
I know, who's playing amazing at the Doggies. But... So I think their ideal would be if they can hang on to Tino and David Fafita, and they can...
I don't even think they can do that.
And they can bring Ben Hunt in to Tanner Boyd.
With Kieran Foran?
With Kieran Foran and AJ Brimson at the back. Then you've got an amazing thing. Then you play Jaden Campbell at 14.
Well, that's the problem, right? You got Jaden Campbell at 14.
He is so good.
He's an 80-minute... He has got to be... They've tried AJ in the halves, right? And it just doesn't work. So I feel like Jaden Campbell, I know he's small, but holy cow, he's almost like Reece Walsh. He's small, but...
I liked what Vossi said. He's just a cork bobbing around the ocean. Because, he seems to just bump off people. He never quite...
Yeah, he bounces off of people, yeah.
He's so tiny.
He is tiny.
Like, in terms of he looks so slight. He's just skin and bone.
Well, I think it was Ben Hurley that calls him, because he looks like him, Walter Mitty. The Ben Stiller movie.
Oh, yes.
He does look a lot like Ben Stiller. So, yeah, I think they need to find a way to get him involved. The thing I like about the Titans, and I actually think they've got a real tough run home. I think they're playing Panthers and Melbourne and a few other top teams. But the thing I like about the Titans is you've got your big two, right? You've got Big Tino. You've got Dave Fafita. I love Mo Futuaika as well. I think he's one of the just day in, day out. He will give you 55 minutes of hard runs and good tackling.
He's, to be honest... He's really almost on par with Tino and Dave Fafita.
I think
he just gets less.
Yes, because he doesn't have a big mullet and he's not giant.
Less hype, yeah. But looking now, the Titans are out of the race.
Yeah, they are.
Now, because really it's only 9th, which is North Queensland, who are on 24 points. Then it goes to 10th, Newcastle on 21. So North Queensland are sort of the ones who are going to scream into the 8, and I reckon either the Eels or the Sharks might drop out.
The Sharks will drop out.
I don't think the Sharks will be playing finals.
They're pretty fragile, aren't they?
They've got the Sharks. The Sharks play Manly, Penrith, Souths, Titans, Cowboys.
Oh my God, I've got to get Will Kennedy off my Supercoach team.
So you'd imagine, because bear in mind, people are knocking South's form. You've got to bear in mind, they've had no players.
Yeah, And yeah,
They suddenly got stripped during Origin.
Yes.
Because Freddie went, let's just take Souths on board and ditch Penrith.
And Campbell Graham's been injured.
Yeah, so they get back Damien Cook, Cody Walker, Campbell Graham, Latrell Mitchell. That changes your whole side. And Keon Kolomatangi.
And a healthy, ready to play no Origin duties Cameron Murray. So they're going to steam.
So they're like getting half a dozen Australian level players back into their side.
Yes.
So people are like, plus they have the most buys left.
Have they still got two
They've
buys?
only had one buy, so they've got 2 buys left. Same with Brisbane.
Right.
So Souths are going to just do that quiet jump up the table. And then I think Sharks and Parramatta's got a pretty hard run home. Parramatta's got Cowboys, Melbourne, Dragons, Brisbane, Roosters.
So I think they can beat Dragons, Roosters. And do you think, here's a question, do you think, actually, no, we'll talk about this next after, because it's Broncos related.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just getting a bit.
Anyway, to wrap up that game, that was a stonker. It's so good to see the last game on a Sunday be an absolute stonker. I loved it, but for both those teams, no finals footy for you.
Yeah, fair enough. Also loved seeing Gutho scoring that clutch sort of try towards the end there. He's so scrappy. I love King Gutho, one of my favourite fullbacks. That is it for the first part of the Mad Monday podcast, folks. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back soon with a few key points of the round, a quick little State of O debrief, and also Dai Henwood coming off the back fence. G'day guys, Keezy here with a quick note. Thanks to our mates at 4 and 20 and their Mad Traveller Pies, we are giving you the chance to become a Mad Traveller yourself. You and a mate could be heading to see the One New Zealand Warriors take on the Wests Tigers at FMG Stadium in Hamilton on August 12th. That's a guaranteed win because the West Tigers suck. We've got flights, accommodation ready to go. You also get $500 spending money and a 2023 signed Warriors jersey. If you're keen on that, text PI to 3236. That is you and a mate in Hamilton. Free flights, free accommodation, $500 and a signed Warriors jersey as well. Text PI to 3236. And while you're doing it, give a mad thank you to the blokes at 4 and 20 Pies. Welcome back to the Mad Monday podcast, Export Beer Garden Studio, 4 and 20 Pies, Keezy, Dai Henwood, you know how it is. Time for some key points now from, what was it, round 20 in the NRL.
I know we're on the ride home.
I know, but it makes me sad. I'm like, oh man, the season's almost finished.
Hey, jumping back to how awesome the Warriors are, how crazy is it? I'm like, okay, we're like sitting 5th now, okay, and then I'm like, oh no, this isn't early in the season.
This is it.
Massively earned this.
Yes, that's right.
You know, where it's like, there is zero fluke about this. We have earned this position.
That's your PTSD kicking in. You've got so much of it.
I've got so many seasons of PTSD.
You should see what it's like. It's halftime. The Warriors are up 22-6 and Dai's freaking out while we're going to the vending machine. It's like, it's got to be fine. We're playing okay. All right, here's a question regarding the Broncos. Now, they absolutely pants the Bulldogs 44-24. I didn't catch this game. I was in Tauranga for Matariki there, and I believe I was quite stunned while this was being played. But, Dai, you think this illustrates the fact that the Broncos are the real deal? Do you think they're a top 4 team for the rest of the ride home? Because you hate them, right?
Yeah, I just... so, hate's a strong word. I think I don't like them because they're always beating the teams I like.
Yes.
And they've always been a really good side, except for the last couple of years.
You like the players, though, right? I love all the players.
No, and that's the thing. I love Selwyn Cobbo. I love Ezra Mann.
Yeah.
You know, like they're enjoyable to watch. Reece Walsh. I'm a meh on Reece Walsh, to be honest. But what they did here, granted they should have beat the Bulldogs, but they beat them with 0 players.
No Carrigan, right? They rested him.
No Carrigan.
No Haas.
No Flegler. No Haas. No Reece Walsh.
Yeah, true.
So Adam Reynolds is having scans today.
Oh, really? What happened to him?
On a wrist injury that he thinks is just ligament. So I think he's the key to them. But Brisbane, I mean, where they are on the ladder is they're second on the ladder.
Don't they have got
2 buys?
Yeah, God.
They've won 13 games. No one else has won 13 games. So they're on fire. They're heading into... they've got a pretty tough run home, to be honest. They go Souths, Roosters, Cowboys, Eels, and Raiders.
What? Because this is kind of a theory I'm operating on with Brisbane, and I'm kind of crossing my fingers that it's true, is that last year the Cowboys started really slow and Brisbane finished woefully.
Well, remember, Brisbane were in the top 4 and then didn't make the 8.
They didn't make the 8.
They
so
fell out in the last 10 rounds.
Do you think they can remedy that this year?
Yes, I think they're a different style team. It's going to be interesting to see, with a lot of talk around people trying to get Payne Haas out. He wants to go on the open market.
Far out, he gets so much coin.
Yeah, but
didn't he get an NFL offer or something stupid?
Yeah, he
like
got
that?
an NFL offer. I'm not sure on the details on that. But come to the Wars, mate.
We don't need him, though.
No, imagine Payne Haas and Adam Fanua-Blake starting.
Oh, my God.
That would just be
my God.
insane. So they're going to have a good testing run home, but it doesn't matter if they drop a few of those games. They're playing great football. They're playing enjoyable football to watch. The Bulldogs have just been a massive letdown. It's so crazy looking at everyone was just fizzing over Cameron Ciraldo.
They got a dud.
They were just fizzing. I feel for him because he was overhyped. Then there was Craig Fitzgibbon. Everyone was fizzing over at the Sharks. Nobody mentioned Andrew Webster.
No one here mentioned him either.
I had to research who he was.
Because we wanted the two brothers, remember? The two brothers that were being...
the Walker brothers.
The Walker brothers were being thrown around, and I was like, that sounds cool.
No, yeah, I know, but we didn't go for the cool option. We just went for a legend. And I think Kevy Walters is getting really good stuff out of Brisbane. This game Thursday night, I believe it is.
Oh, I love a Thursday night
Broncos.
Broncos.
No, sorry. It's the late night Friday game, 10 p.m.
Who's playing Thursday?
Thursday. So you want to stay up for this. Dragons v Tigers.
Oh, my God, that is disgusting. Because one of my favourite things is to have a coffee and watch the replay of that game on a Friday morning.
Oh, same.
So that's not going to happen.
Then Friday is just stonk city. You got Tino Fa'asua Manaialawi and Adam Fanua-Kizzy at 8 p.m. commentating Warriors Raiders. Then South Sydney v the Broncos.
Oh, how good.
That's going to be a huge match. South Sydney will have a lot of players back. That'll be a good test of actually seeing where the Broncos are at, and it'll also be Adam Reynolds up against his own club.
That's also almost like New South Wales v Queensland, because you've got Cobbo and Carrigan and all these guys up against pretty much the NSW team, you know what I mean?
And
with
they've
Cody
had a week to rest.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going to be a great game. Is that at Suncorp, is it?
No, that's a South's home game.
Right, okay. Sunshine Coast.
It's Sunshine Coast.
Random.
At Bocarina.
Random as.
That will be a Brisbane home game, but it won't. Oh, no, because Suncorp's under the same buzz as Eden Park with the FIFA Women's World Cup.
Oh, they've been turfed out. It's good to see, actually.
And so they're not allowed to call it Suncorp Stadium.
Why is that?
It's called Brisbane Stadium.
Oh, why?
And
for FIFA reasons.
FIFA asked for the statues to be removed.
And did they oblige?
No.
That is blasphemous.
They wanted all the league statues to be. FIFA are the weirdest organisation.
Oh, God.
But so that'll be a great game. It'll be great to see where they're sitting, but they're going to be there at the pointy end of the season.
All right, here's a team which could be at the pointy end of the season, but then probably won't be. Knights. Real deal, yes or no? They've got Kalen Ponga, who's in literally the best form of his career. His whole head knock situation, he's obviously figured out a way to throw a delayed pass without slipping over and head-butting someone's shoulder. He's also figured out that if he plays at fullback, he can, make tackles without knocking himself out. He looks amazing. They've got Origin superstar Bradman Best. They've got Greg Marju when he's on the bus. He looks good. Dom Young looks amazing. Do you think the Knights are the real deal?
Yes.
Really?
I think that they actually, when I'm looking at it, what's going to hamstring them potentially getting into the 8 is the form of the Cowboys.
Yes, they left their run late.
Whereas Newcastle, they're on 21 points. They've had 7 wins. So that means they're going to need 6. So technically to make the 8, they have to win every game.
So they've got the Storm this weekend. They've then got Raiders, Dolphins, Bulldogs,
and South.
And then South, Sharks, and then Dragons. So I think I could see them winning 5 of those. But
yeah, so they're going to need 6 wins.
And I think the Titans are similar but not as good. I think the Knights are a team you circle as, at this point in the season, they're going to be doing what classic Warriors do, and they'll just be the ones throwing some upsets.
Yeah, I feel they're missing a real blockbuster forward because Tyson Frizzell hasn't really delivered his classic Origin form. The Saifidi brothers,
Saifidis are rusty, man.
they're just looking rusty. They used to be just weapons.
Oh, Hetherington.
And Hetherington is a oh man,
He's such a spoon.
he's such a spoon. The issue is he's a really good player.
Yeah.
But then he does something stupid.
That's right, every game. Because didn't he get sent off last game as well?
Yes.
And this guy, yeah, so he just needs to... Oh, how do you fix that, though? Well, they've fixed a lot of players.
But he slapped him over, like, it was a stupid open-handed slap that was over a really dumb... Like, there wasn't like there was a big ruckus or anything. It was just a stupid thing to do. He's such a hothead. They've tried to knock it out of him. We saw a bit of that when he was over here at the Warriors.
Him and Kane Evans. Hell of a duo.
Oh, just folding people, eh? The Knights, they've timed their run too late, but even though he's another one I love to hate, Kalen Ponga, he's just... he always finds himself in the right spot.
It has been so enjoyable the last sort of month having him and Greg Marju on my Supercoach team. It's just... I actually enjoy watching the Knights.
Yeah.
So they've just left their run too late. And, well, they've got Dane Gagai. They've got good. Adam Elliott's coming back now and, starting to get back into form. But, yeah, I think you're right. Left their run a wee bit too late. Quickly, though, Dai, before we get on to you coming off the back fence, quick thoughts on State of Origin. Now, Game 3 was Wednesday night. Hurley and Mania did a great job covering that one. I stayed up late with a bottle of red wine and a packet of cheese balls and wrote a few notes. Keon Koloamatangi, weapon. Absolute weapon. Silky.
I love everything about him. Off the field, he's just a good
Lovely
dude.
guy. Even his haircut, you love that?
Yeah, I like it because it's just, there's so much. He's really committed to it.
He's gone all in on it, yeah.
Like, the only option to change it is the full shave.
Yeah. His touch, though, is incredible for a big fella.
Yeah, he's big. He can pass. He's always in the right spot. He tackles his heart out. This felt like a club game to me. It didn't have the intensity of Origin.
No spark at all.
I think it showed that why Freddie wanted to bring Cody Walker in Game 2 but couldn't due to injury. That South's connection between Cam Murray, Cook, and Walker is just sublime. It shows how much Luai just jumps about and Luai sort of bounces about like a pinball and is everywhere. Cody is really thought through. Like he just runs that shape and creates space and jogs into the line, then gets it out. He just put on a bit of a masterclass.
Well, the thing, Luai, you're right. He reminds me of like an early Sean Johnson where his whole thing was stepping guys and beating them to set up tries, whereas now Shawnee's all about just being try involvement. So the whole back line working, that's what Cody does. It doesn't matter, and usually he does get the try assist, but it doesn't matter if he gets the ball first or he's the one throwing the pass or putting the kick through. Whenever he's got the ball, that side just looked like they knew what they were doing.
But the thing is, when Luai plays that way, he ruins shape.
Yes.
The shape all comes around, then he sort of double steps.
That's right.
And it puts everyone off their run. So Cody... he's in the form of his life. I would be surprised if he's not playing there next year. The key interesting thing would be is Mitch Moses or Cleary. Like there's not much between them at Origin level.
You're right. I mean, Cleary's obviously an absolute beast in the NRL.
Club-wise,
yeah.
Cleary would have it over Moses,
Yes.
but Cleary hasn't delivered.
No, he hasn't.
And I'd be interested to see Cleary and Cody Walker.
Well, what Cody Walker is he's kind of like New South Wales, our version of, the reason I like Queensland is so successful is because they don't have Luais playing at 5'8". They've got steady guys like, you got Ben Hunt, Harry Grant, who's a bit of, energy out of hooker, but he only plays like half a State of Origin game.
Also Munster has got a bit of the Luai thing, but he actually knows when to just play calm.
Yes.
Munster actually spends the first 60 minutes of a game playing pretty straightforward.
That's right.
And then he suddenly bolts out of the blue.
Yeah. So, and I think, and I think the reason also that AJ Brimson, I mean, it was his debut, wasn't it? He played a full game at fullback for Queensland. I think that was his first game for Queensland at fullback. I'm pretty sure. I think Queensland, the thing I like about them is they have a staunch forward pack. They've then got experienced halves. You've got Ben Hunt, Daly, Cherry Evans and Munster. They've got solid across the board, and then they've got a wackadoodle out the back like Kalen Ponga or Reece Walsh providing that excitement.
Yeah, they missed Reece Walsh.
Yeah, they need that sort of guy coming in and doing some stuff.
What are your thoughts on the fact that Queensland dropped that game so Fittler will coach Origin again next year?
Well, to be fair, I mean, there's no one else out there.
There's Fittler. Look, I think he gets a lot of shit that he doesn't deserve. The best thing he did was bring Ivan Cleary into the coaching box to run the interchange bench.
So hang on, so you think he doesn't deserve shit for playing Gutho for 3 minutes after just having him there as cover after having to play Damien Cook?
Look,
and all
don't
that
get me
stuff?
started on selections.
Okay, right.
He deserves shit for selections. I've never understand his interchange bench. If you're allowed 4 extra players,
Yes,
put 4 extra players that you're going to use on.
not 3 and a guy you've got no plan for.
And it was just a bit embarrassing seeing Gutho come on for 3 minutes. You know when you feel sorry for a dude, it's like, bro, you can't get anything done here. And it's just like, oh, yeah, I played in the game that we won. But I don't understand his thing of 2 hookers and 2 fullbacks is ridiculous.
Yes, stupid.
You either play a utility, someone like a Bailey Sirenen type, right, who can go into hooker but also play
Dylan Walker,
pretty much any forward.
Yeah.
And then you shuffle an edge of going, you put a Keon Kolomatangi or a Cam Murray into the centres and push a centre to the wing or something.
They could have had Hudson Young could have pushed out that game where Cook played, in the centres. You know what I mean? Like,
but Cam Murray
he was
has
on the
played
bench.
centre,
Oh, yes.
and he played centre in all the grades coming through.
And he only played 35 minutes that game or something as well.
So
Like,
what?
I don't know.
No, so the interchange just makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Because it's going, you could just have another big dude smashing through. So but I think that he's quite a good man manager, and like the obvious thing is to me, you don't kick someone out unless you got someone to replace them with.
Yes. And the only thing is I just want, because I get quite annoyed that Luai and Cleary and the likes blow the first 2 games, nothing's on the line, so they pull in all these players from other teams. They ruin the Eels by pulling out Gutho, and but they all want to be there, obviously. They grab Cody Walker from Souths after the series has been lost. I just hope that when we go into next year, if Cody Walker's still in amazing form, that he is now the incumbent.
You know what I dislike is the structure of having the neutral game first.
Yes, so you're always guaranteed that one team is probably going to win away
in the second game.
Yeah.
So for me, you play the neutral game last. So both teams have had a home game.
And then it's on neutral ground to decide.
Because then there's more chance to me of it going to that decider. Then it's a decider on neutral ground, which seems more fair.
Yes, because NSW's had an advantage, then Queensland.
So the thing is, from a New South Wales fan point of view, what would they have 5 out of the last 6 games, I think, in Queensland? Or neutral. Because remember during COVID, all 3 games were played in Queensland?
Yeah.
Then they went neutral Queensland. So that's like 5 games in a row in Queensland.
Brisbane, man, I swear to God.
So it's like, surely they should be gifted the first game in New South Wales. Because unlike a lot of, it really makes a difference in Origin.
It does. And also, if a team has won 2-0, right, and there's still a third game, can you just give them the shield then?
Yeah,
like Daly and that, they're already hungover from partying. They lose and they're not really, their spirit isn't there, and then they have to walk around Sydney.
And you could do the victory lap around Sydney.
God,
it's a punish. So got to sort it out, but there's a big call for Origin game to happen in Auckland that might happen in 2025, so that would be phenomenal.
I think I was listening to a potty the other day saying that the next 3, neutral venues have already been allocated.
Sorry. It was...
So I think it might be 2027 or something.
Oh, yeah, because they're going back to Adelaide and Perth.
Yeah, they've
I
already
actually
locked
reckon
them in.
there's more, there's a lot of Origin fans in New Zealand.
But how would we do it, though? Because Origin's at 10 o'clock in New Zealand.
Oh, my God. Imagine going to Mount Smart at 10 o'clock.
You don't want to be in Penrose at 10 o'clock on a Friday or Wednesday or whatever. So that's how we'd have to do it, though, right? Because that's the only way Aussie would let us.
Going to the ground at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I don't know if that'll ever happen. I hope it does. I'll be all over it. But and they'd have to have it at Mount Smart too, right? Not Eden Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that is round 20 successfully covered off. Time to warm up the old vocal cords now because Dai Henwood is coming off the back fence.
Oh, a long kickoff. The offload to Henwood, and he's off the back fence. Boom time.
Look, this is a bit of a different one today. Normally I'm just fizzing and shouting and going crazy, but this is a bit of a gratitude off the back fence because I've been doing chemo for the last month or so. I'm in 4 rounds into 6 rounds of this current one. I've just done 18 rounds, and it's bloody tough, and I'm suffering mentally and physically. It's absolute shambles. But I just wanted to say thank you to all the ACC fans who listen to commentary. I get to come in and commentate the Warriors, and the Warriors, honestly, when I'm going through chemo, I watch old Warriors wins. I pore over Warriors stats. The New Zealand Warriors are something that is a massive highlight in my life, win, lose, or draw. They just buoy me up, and league is a hobby that I absolutely love. I get to come in here and commentate the league with absolute legends in the ACC, and absolute legends like you who are listening, you who are watching. You send in text, you fill up my bucket, and you make me forget about having cancer. And that is a massive thing because cancer is something I think about 24/7. So the fact that I get to come in here and commentate the mighty One New Zealand Warriors and watch us surge into the top 4 with a win against the Raiders this week just fills my bucket. So a massive thanks to the One New Zealand Warriors and a massive thanks to the fans of the ACC who join us week in, week out. I bloody love you, and I can't wait to commentate the next game. Choo!
We love you too, Dai. Absolute pleasure doing this with you, mate, every week. Don't forget, that wraps up Mad Monday for round 20. We will be back on Wednesday with a Supercoach special. And, of course, the Raiders game this Friday, 8 o'clock. Make sure you do join us then. But from myself and Tohu Henwood, we'll see you next time.
Peace.